everyone. Come on in for my review. My name's Deborah from Married at First Sight, season 17, episode 6. We still in cold Denver, but it's heating up. It's heating up. And y'all saw my thumbnail right. Y'all saw it right. Fake wokeness. I guess y'all was right. I was wrong. Y'all was right and I was wrong about Orion and Lauren. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. It all fell apart. It all fell apart. But you know what? I got something interesting to talk about because I think I'm probably gonna end up being, once again, I think I'm gonna be over here on the side all by myself. People gonna get mad at me. But I'm gonna tell you, in this whole little battle of culture wars that they was doing all episode long, I was exhausted. I was really exhausted before Orion really put his foot in her neck. I was exhausted before with the conversation because it was just really kind of rubbing me wrong, y'all. I'm not going to lie. It was really, really rubbing me wrong. And I'm going to tell you who was actually rubbing me wrong the most. And it actually was Lauren. And maybe it's because I am black. And be honest with you, I actually kind of felt like my culture wasn't really being represented. Because let me tell you something. My culture is not based on laying edges and a hair bonnet. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's not what my black culture is based off of, is laying edges and wearing a head bonnet. And I was starting to have a little bit of problem with this constant conversation with Lauren about her hair. Okay, because if you really think about this whole conversation that she's talking about her culture, when has any of it veered off of about her hair? Now, I understand that our hair is part of our culture, but this was starting to sound more like, to me, to be honest with you, her trying to get acceptance for her own whatever. I don't know, because I'm telling you, I don't want nobody summing up me and my black culture based on laying edges and hair bonnets. There's no historical reference to that. Hair bonnets, I mean, come on now, people. Come on now, people. I was having a problem with it before, but let me tell you something I was right about. I was right about ain't nobody gonna punk Orion. You're not gonna punk him. You're not going to get to laugh in his face. You're not going to get to say stuff to him and get a pass. Okay, see, that's what Lauren thought this episode. We're going to go through it. But I really want to dial it back. When I start to get a little bit irritated with Lauren this episode, and we're going to talk about the N-word that he used. We're going to talk about it. But when I start to get a little bit irritated with it, I had to actually go back to really the episode when Cameron said the whole thing about the reservation. Now, I'm going to tell you this, you guys. When that happened, my video was solely concentrated on what Cameron had done, what Cameron had said. I also looked at the way that Orion handled Cameron. He basically called him out and said that was ignorance. And he just moved on from it. But I told you then that if I were Orion, I really wouldn't be moving on with it. I wouldn't be causing no big scene, but it's in my head. I know who you are. And I believe that's what Orion did. But one thing I didn't mention in that video, because I really didn't want to say it at the time, because I too like to give passes sometimes. I know y'all don't think I give them, but I give them. I give passes. I actually gave Lauren a pass because I didn't think that her laughter when Cameron said that was appropriate. I didn't think the laughter was appropriate. And I didn't know if she laughed because she was nervous. I didn't know if she laughed because she was uncomfortable. But that was my first indication that, okay, wait a minute, girlfriend. If you so woke, then why are you laughing? Because when you're a woke person, you should be woke in all areas. When you laugh, that means you got startled by this little comment that Cameron made. You're not woke. Because when Cameron made that comment, that was not a moment to laugh. And that was not a moment to laugh at Cameron. And it was not a moment to laugh in the presence of your husband when you don't know how your husband felt about it. So I really didn't like the laughter. But what I did in that moment was I gave her a pass and I said, well, maybe she's uncomfortable. Maybe she was a bit uncomfortable and that was nervous laughter. And so I gave her a pass. But to be honest with you, if I am Orion's wife and I'm leaning up underneath his arms and someone makes a comment like Cameron did, I'm not laughing at it. I'm not laughing at it at all. I may not say anything and let my husband check him. I may not get on Cameron and let my husband do it. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to laugh at Cameron because I think it's ignorant. And I'm not going to laugh at someone says something about my husband that is ignorant. So I didn't like that. I started getting these little things in the beginning, all this conversation. It seemed so, I don't know, the conversation between Lauren and Orion, it was what I had picked up earlier. I remember this second episode, I said, I don't know, can they get out of their friend zone because of kind of the way they have their conversation? I thought, okay, but then they were kissing and hugging. I thought, okay, good. I believe in this couple. This couple can make it. But let me tell you, this episode right here exposed Lauren. I know y'all think it's exposed Orion. It didn't expose Orion because Orion has stayed firm, 10 toes down on where he is. What Orion has said is, I'm not letting none of this slide, period. None of it. But what Lauren has told us is she's woke out here in the world. She wants people to accept her culture. Well, let me tell you something. When you want people to accept your culture, then you got to be willing to accept them. When you don't want people laughing at you, then you can't be laughing at other people. And let me tell you something. When you don't want to give passes to people, then don't be expecting passes for yourself. We can't do that, people. We can't run around talking about we want people to respect our culture, but then we disrespect other people's culture. And then when they get mad, we ask them, well, why can't you forgive me? Because I'm a black woman. And guess what? I get racism. Black people can be racist. Black people can be ignorant. Black people can have problems too. You don't get no pass, black people, just because we've been victimized too. No, that's why in a lot of ways we expect more. I would have actually expected more from Lauren. And I don't know how Lauren can be woke out here and she doesn't know the implications of the word a redskin. First of all, they got rid of a whole football team named the Washington Redskins behind this. How does she not know what it is? And then to look in this man's face and say, oh, I never really used the word. I don't even know what it means. Oh, but now that I look at you, now I know. Girl, you sound foolish. You sound ignorant. You're not woke. You not woke. That's no different for someone saying, historically people call black people monkeys. And a white man sitting in front of me and saying, you know what, I don't really know why they call black people monkeys. And then they look me dead in my face and they go, oh my God, now I know because you kind of look like a monkey. What's the difference? What is the difference? What Lauren did was horrible. One is she didn't even know that there was any racial or things about the word redskin. I don't know where she lives, up underneath a rock, so she definitely ain't woke. She's asleep, okay? And then when she asked, well, what does it mean? Instead of just listening to his definition, she all of a sudden starts to sound educated. Well, I don't know. I never used it. Now you playing dumb. You can't be woke and dumb at the same time. I never used it. Oh, I don't know what it means. Wait a minute. Are you woke or are you dumb and asleep? Please let me know which one you are. That's why I say this is fake wokeness. This really isn't wokeness, people. This is about her hair. Because what else has Lauren talked about besides her hair? This really isn't about culture. This man is over here educating her about culture. He's talking about dances, traditions, hair traditions with symbolisms. She's over here talking about hair bonnets and laying edges with some gel and a toothbrush and you get the naps out. That was stupid. Ignorant. Lauren act like she wanted to do a YouTube video on laying edges. What was all that for? But let me tell you something, what else was getting me wrong. I'm telling you, this was all before Orion was really digging into her. I'm going to tell you all these moments when I was side-eyeing Lauren. Now, remember, Lauren is the one with non-traditional roles, non-traditional gender roles. She flexes in between the male and the female. But then all of a sudden, she says, well, she wants the 80-20 rule. He pays 20%, she pays 80%. Oh, she says she wants a traditional house. She wants to be the one to be able to cook for her husband. See, this is this confusing stuff between I don't want no gender roles, but then I want the roles that favor me when it comes to the money. And then when it comes to the housework, I don't want second gender roles in the housework either. I want that to favor me. That's what I'm talking about. Fake wokeness, fake non-gender roles. It all falls apart when you really start listening. This idea that, oh, I really don't want gender roles. I'm more fluid. I'm more into the male, the female, the masculine, whatever goes. But then all of a sudden, when we start lining up duties in the house, you want traditional roles? I was irritated before he put his foot in her neck. I'm telling y'all, I was irritated because I was seeing the signs of fake wokeness, fake everything. I was seeing it. It was falling apart in my very eyes. I'm going to tell you another conversation that I didn't like. What's your private parts down there? What type of manscaping do you use? I didn't like it either. Be honest with you, I didn't like it either. And let me tell you why I didn't like it. I thought it was coming real close to an area of, because you're a non-black man, what do you look like down there? It was starting to come off a little ignorant. It was starting to come off, and I was tying it to, I'm not for sure why she asked that question. And I think she's asking the question because she doesn't know. And remember, I gave her kudos. I said, these two are inquisitive. They're willing to learn about each other. But one of the things that I was picking up on Lauren is that she actually doesn't know a lot. She doesn't know a lot. And then what I thought she was doing was, I thought she was buying into a lot of stereotypes. And I think she started going down a line of questioning with Orion that started to sound a little bit ignorant. I did. I'm telling you, even before they started really getting into it, I was starting to say to myself, this is not looking good. She is not. I gave her points for being inquisitive, asking questions, but I'm going to tell you, laced in some of Lauren's questions was this level of stereotyping Orion. I ain't got it all together. I'm formulating it now as I'm talking to you guys, but I didn't like the conversation. It was irritating me. I was irritated the whole episode because then she went on to say, have you ever used the N-word? I know a lot of people like to use this as their litmus test out here of if a person's, a certain kind of weight if you use the N-word. I don't. Okay. But anyway, let's go with it. He said, yeah, I've used it, singing back the lyrics to a song, a rap song, whatever else, which we know probably 95% of people have said it. That's why I don't think it's useful, because probably 95% of people out here who listen to rap music has repeated the word. So at least Orion was honest and said, yeah, I've used it. But what he did say was, I stopped doing it because I started to understand more of the implication of the word. My mother educated me. I stopped using it. But it was honest in what he said that he used it. Whether you like the fact or not, he was honest. He fessed up to it. He said it was wrong. Then here comes this fake wokeness. Oh, well, can I punch you for my ancestors? Can I punch you in your arm for my ancestors? What ancestors are you talking about? The one laying edges and wearing hair bonnets? Girl, fake wokeness. Anyway, let's move on, Lauren. Let's move on. Then she starts going down this line where black women, we're always made the joke of this and that. Where are you going, Lauren? Why are you talking about this? Why is this now becoming like culture wars? Like, who's the most victimized? Is it the black woman that's most victimized? Is it the indigenous people that are most victimized? Why are you going down this path? And I agree with Orion when he said to her, you're actually trying to minimize things. You're actually trying to elevate your struggle over his struggle. Because another thing that she said was, yeah, you were here first and things were taken from you, but we were brought here against our will. Oh my gosh. Really, Lauren, this is what you're doing? This is how you're trying to elevate black people and say our struggle is worse than their struggle. It was horrible. It was a horrible look. And laced in that was also a degree of ignorance on Lauren's part. Okay? Laced in that was also a degree of her ignorance. And the story that she's telling really isn't the full story. It tells you that she really not only does she not understand her own culture of how we got here and who helped bring us here as slaves, okay? she also doesn't understand the story of the indigenous people. And then when Orion started digging into her and saying, hey, you know what, I don't want you to minimize things. I don't want you to act as if, she started to actually kind of gaslight him. She says, well, you gave the white man a pass. Why don't you give me a pass? What? What does that have to do with anything? And who said I gave him a pass? Who said I gave him a pass? Just because I didn't start a fight on no tour bus doesn't mean it hasn't changed the way I think about Cameron. Who said I gave him a pass? Second of all, that's Cameron. I ain't married to Cameron. I'm married to you. So I am going to handle you a bit differently. I am going to treat your comment definitely more serious because you are who I care about, and how you think about me is more important than how Cameron thinks about me. It don't mean that I'm not going to check Cameron, which I did on that bus and I called him ignorant. But with you, who's supposed to be my wife, and you sitting here in front of my face saying, oh, I've never used the word, but now I can look at you and say why they call you a redskin, a he, and you think I'm supposed to give you a pass just because you're a black woman, but you're a black woman running around here talking about you woke and talking about how, let me teach you how to lay edges and wear a hair bonnet. Girl, get out of here. I told y'all gonna be mad at me this episode. Be mad, be mad, be mad. Because I didn't like one bit of it. And be honest with you, I'm glad Orion took the hard stance he did. He didn't give her no wiggle room. He sure didn't. But you know why? I agree with him why he didn't give her a whole lot of wiggle room, because the way she has set up the conversations, the way she has led this conversation, because remember, this isn't a conversation that Orion is going down these paths. These are paths Lauren is choosing. She's choosing the pathway. Let's talk about the N word. Let's talk about laying edges and bonnets. She's the one constantly bringing up her so-called culture. And then she's putting her foot in her mouth. And then when people are telling her that her foot is in her mouth, now she's screaming foul and she's the victim. Nah, didn't like it, y'all. Didn't like it one bit. He tried to tell her. Did you hear the part when he says, why don't you just stay away from it? He tried to tell her. He says, no, I think when you don't know something, you should just stay away from it. And that's what I agree. Why is she going down the road? It's almost as if she wants him to fully understand her, which, to be honest with you, I don't know what culture she's even talking about, because like I said, all she's talked about is laying edges and hair bonnets. She ain't talking about no real depth cultural history or something. And he told her, if you don't know something, you should stay away from it. But instead of her recognizing that, she doubles down and says, well, why are you giving the white man a pass? What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with you and your behavior? Why are you now bringing in a whole nother person into this conversation so you can deflect? Like I said, she minimizing Orion's feelings, his plight, his people's plight, elevating the black experience over his. And then what she's saying is, now I need to get a pass because historically I've been victimized or whatever too. Girl, no. You sound crazy. You sound absolutely crazy. Orion was on the after party. Keisha and I pulled him and asked him, do you feel differently now that you watched it back? And Orion said, no. I told y'all, Orion 10 toes down. I'm telling you, I said that in the very beginning. That's one thing I was right about. People gonna think that they can laugh in Orion's face. People gonna think that they can punk him. But Ryan has told people plenty of times it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Keisha and I pulling him at the party was saying, why couldn't you give her an olive branch? Why can't? Because you know what I think was happening? I think Lauren has been saying a lot of ignorant things, to be honest with you. I don't think it was one thing. I just ran over a bunch of them to you. And who knows what else she was saying when the cameras were off. There comes a point in time where you can't give no more passes. There really does. There really, really does. I think where Lauren made the mistake was when she was constantly putting her foot in her mouth. She should have said an unequivocal apology. And she never really gave one. What she did was she went on the defense and said, well, why do I even need to continue apologizing? Because even in her apology, I'm telling you, there was moments when she was trying to apologize. But in her apology, y'all, what I felt was she was minimizing the way he felt. And then what she was doing was she was also giving herself leeway and credit. She was also giving her own self leeway. And that's not for her to give. That's for him to give. That's like when someone says something to you, uses the N word, and they run around and they start talking about, well, you know what? I've really never been around black people, this and that. So you need to give me a pass. Nah. If I want to give you one, I'll give you one. But if you're a grown person, I'm expecting you to know something. And that's not for you to give yourself the pass. It's for me to do it. And I think in Lauren's apology, she was constantly giving herself the pass. And then what she was doing was she was minimizing it. And she was kind of attacking Orion for not giving her the pass. And let me tell you, that's not an apology. That's not sincere apology for what you've done when you're really concerned about their feelings. That's when you're trying to get yourself off the hook, because now, yeah, you feel bad, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to make me feel bad for calling you on it. And that wasn't that. That's what I'm saying. This is just some fake wokeness, because I want somebody to tell me what real cultural African American studies Lauren was being even doing on this show. Has she really taught anything besides laying edges and wearing hair bonnets? No, she hasn't. Well, I'm still on track for Becca and Austin, but I think they're going to make it. I think they're a wonderful couple, but I'm going to tell you, it was kind of all this giggling and laughing and goofiness every 2 minutes, eating fruit in the bathtub. I was exhausted over it too. I'm like, can this go on? Can this go on for 30 years? Can this go on for 30 years? This right here, what they're doing. Can this go on for 30 years? Is there ever going to be a serious moment? Or is everything going to be goofy, laughing, nothing serious? Maybe that's just their personality. I'm happy for them. And then we find out that Becca has another illness, and it's anxiety, crippling anxiety. Couldn't even go to the grocery store, she said. Couldn't even go out the house. So we're talking about endometriosis. We're talking about an autoimmune deficiency that affects the spine. And now we talk about a past history of crippling anxiety where she couldn't even go in a grocery store. Is this going to crash and burn, y'all? Is this going to crash and burn later on? I mean, Austin seems like he has the capacity of the Pope right now. He has the capacity of the Pope. So I hope it lasts. I really hope it lasts, because this is starting to feel like Austin is married to an 80-year-old grandmother. I hope it lasts. They seem happy. All this fun and joking seems to be going well. But I hope that when they re-enter the real world, the regular 9-to-5 world, and all these things mean more, I hope they can withstand it. I hope they hold up. I really hope that they can hold up. And now she's coming saying she's okay with not having kids. Well, of course not. If you have anxiety, autoimmune, and endometriosis, I bet you are pretty okay with not having kids, because you probably know what that could do to you mentally, physically. So now you're okay with not having kids. And he's over here sitting low. Well, I do want 2 kids. Well, if my partner wants 2 kids, okay. So now I'm Austin. I just married a woman with endometriosis. I married a woman with autoimmune. I married a woman with a past history of mental health, which anxiety is mental health. And now I've also got a woman who technically could care less, yes or no, if she wants to have kids, and I want kids. Oh my goodness. What the heck is going on here? And last week I gave Claire a pass because I was so on camera the whole time with the comment he made. But one of you in the comments below said, I think you were giving Claire too much of a pass. And I said, yeah, I probably was, but it may only be a day pass. Well, it was only a day pass, because I'm back on Claire's neck. I'm back on it. She got a day pass, but she don't get one a day. I don't like Claire either, y'all. Sorry to say, I don't like her. Let me tell you, when Claire started digging into Cameron about his outfit, and saying he looked like a dad, I quickly looked at what she had on. And I was like, she got some shorts on that are 5 sizes too big. And I don't even know if you can call them shorts, because they darn near down to her calves. And with this little crochet top she got on, and she's talking about his fit, I don't care how he looked. She didn't look no better. She didn't look any better. Claire is real good at talking about other people, trying to talk about other people. But girlfriend, you should have just gone and looked in that full length mirror in the bathroom, and maybe you would have been keeping your mouth shut about what Cameron had on, because your fit wasn't looking no better. No better. She act like she had on his shorts. She act like she forgot her shorts and asked her husband, can I wear your shorts? Because them shorts was hecka big. Hecka big. And then he asked her, so you're still in school? And she said she's finished up her master's degree. Well, girl, you ain't no real therapist with just a bachelor's degree. Most therapists have to have a master's and PhD. I mean, I know what you got. Is that are you even a therapist with a bachelor's? Please, therapists, psychologists, majors, please drop down in the comments. Do you just have a bachelor's degree as a psychologist, but to become a certified therapist, do you need a master's or a PhD? Or are you just like me, a quack therapist, if you only have a bachelor's? Are you a counselor with a bachelor's? Are there levels to this? Can you be a therapist with a bachelor's degree? I need to know. Because when she told me she's in the second year of her master's degree, I was like, well, then can she be a therapist? Educate me, y'all. Educate me down in the comments. I need to know. Because then she went over here and started telling him, you just fix bikes. Don't you get bored? Ugh. What's wrong with her? What's wrong with her? Well, I just thought you'd get bored. It's so repetitive. That's such a dig. That's such a put down. But she felt comfortable saying it. She felt comfortable saying it. We know this ain't going nowhere, y'all. We know this whole relationship ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. And then when she went down this long, windy road of this therapy question, when she said, are you in therapy? He said, no, I'm not in therapy or anything like that. But I think he said he had been before, but I'm not in therapy right now. And she said, why not? And he says, well, I don't know. It just hasn't come to me yet for me to go. And then next thing you know, she's on some road talking about, where do things just come to you? How did you get from, are you in therapy? No, I'm not in it right now. Why aren't you in it? Because I haven't found a need or an urge for me to be in it right now. But if it were to come to me where I felt I needed to go, I would go. How do we go from there to saying that he's entitled and privileged? This girl is a mess. I know she ain't got no patience as a bachelor's degree. That's probably what the problem is. The problem is she only got a bachelor's degree. She don't have no real patience. So she's over here trying to make Cameron her patient. Girl, go finish your master's degree. And if you are a real therapist, why would you be sitting in front of your client talking about, well, we just think so differently, putting down his way of thinking? What kind of therapist listens to a person, and when that person does have a different way of thinking with you, let's say it does, you go right to putting them down and saying, your thinking is a problem, my thinking is right, and you got the problem. Woo! You know what? We're going to give her and say, maybe it's because she ain't finished that master's degree. She don't really know how to communicate. Because Claire got horrible communication, y'all. Horrible communication. And then she'll come on, well, I like the fact that we can have healthy conversation and it doesn't turn into arguments. That's because he ain't clapping back. That's the only reason it's not an argument, because I'm telling you, if you was talking to me, it would be an argument. I would have told you off by now. I would have told you off. As many digs as Claire has taken at this man, and for him to have somewhat kept his composure, that's the reason they ain't an argument. Because if she was talking to Orion, Orion would have already been in her butt. Already been in her butt. By the end of the conversation, Claire was over here telling this man he ain't got no drive. She was over here telling him he ain't got no drive. So let me tell you what I'm going to do with this. Let me tell you what I'm going to do with Claire and Cameron. Because to be honest with you, they can go at it. They can go at it. They can go at it. I'm taking the leash off Cameron because I know Cameron can get in it. I'm taking the leash off Cameron because Claire has declared war too. So now that she's declared war with these put down in these words, I'm going to give Cameron free reign, and I'm just going to sit back and laugh at these two as they gnaw at each other. Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to sit on this season all sing along, take digs, and gnaw at each other. Let's see who's going to win. It's going to be a bloody bloodbath. Let's see who's going to win in the end. Let's see who can get in the most jabs. But I ain't taking sides because, to be honest with you, neither one of them right now I don't like neither one of them. And I guess right now the one I'm still on the fence with is Emily and Brennan. Because right now I feel like it looks like they can work out, but I'm telling you, I think it's going to fall apart. I think Brennan is going to get impatient with Emily. Emily talking about she don't know how to manage no money. She don't even know where her money goes. She makes a lot of money. She don't know where it goes. It probably goes to all them fifths of tequila. It probably goes to all them bottles of tequila and all the partying she likes to do. And let's buy around for everybody at the bar. When she said she slipped in the shower and it was slippery, girl, because you was drunk. She's drunk, falling in the shower. Then we find out on the after party she got a brace on her wrist. And let me tell you, it's not the same wrist she said she hurt on the honeymoon. So I feel like she hurt her wrist again. She fell again. What, drunk? Ugh. This ain't gonna work out. This is not gonna work out. I said I was 50-50, but I'm leaning towards it's not, because I think it's gonna come a time when Brennan's gonna be done with this foolishness. He's gonna go into that serious mode in which he said he can go into, and he's gonna be on the neck of Emily. He's gonna be on her neck, and she ain't gonna be able to take it. She ain't gonna be able to take it, and she's gonna be saying, I need a drink, I need a glass of wine, I need a champagne, because she's not gonna be able to take the pressure of Brennan. Because Brennan's already warned her, listen, I'm real strict about this money thing, spending money. I like to save. I like to live below my means. And she's over here talking about, yeah, I make money, but I spend it frivolously. I do whatever I want. They both want to be a power couple, but he the only one over here talking about saving money. She over here talking about be a power couple at the bar, buying rounds of drinks for everybody. That's the kind of power couple she want to be. Emily's ready to get in these sheets. She talking about, oh, what about sex? When we gonna start having sex? He's like, I want to slow it down, take it a little slow. She like, let's get in these sheets. Let's get in these sheets. This is what I do. Emily needs to stop talking about what she does sexually after she already told us she ain't never had no boyfriend. So she just has random hookups. It's not a good look for her husband. She needs to stop repeating the story. She really does. But I think once they get back on dry land, once they get out of Cancun, all the fun, all the tequila, all the mezcal, I think the real world's going to hit this couple too. And it ain't going to be pretty. It ain't going to be pretty, because once Brennan gets back to work, he going to be like, I don't know. And I think he's going to be hard on Emily. I think he's going to be real, real hard on her. And she's going to have a lot of naive things about herself. And I don't think he's going to have the patience. He probably is going to need to have more patience for her. And I don't know if he's going to have it. And she's going to kind of be like a sloppy drunk. Then she's going to be crying. Then she's going to be falling on the floor, breaking her wrist. I don't see it, y'all. I don't see it. I hope I'm wrong about him, though. Just like I was wrong about Lauren. I could be wrong about Emily and Brennan, but in a good way. Maybe they will stay together. But right now, the only couple looking like they might make it is Austin and old girl Becca. But to be honest with you, I wonder how many years this will last. How many years will this last with even Becca and Austin? Maybe they'll make it past decision day. I just hope so. I just hope that Austin is the pope that he's saying he is. He's the only child. That's what kind of bothers me a little bit. An only child isn't used to caring for others. And the type of role he's being thrust into right now as a caretaker, he don't have no experience in it. So does he just have the capacity to do it? I sure hope so, because it's a lot. It's a lot going on over there. But anyway, that's it, y'all. Tell me what you think down below in the comments. Talk to you later. Bye.